Okay, here we will talk about a centralized electric water heater. Okay, assume that you have a hotel apartment, okay, where you have a 500 keys, okay, like there are 500 apartments. Okay, in that case, you no need to go with the individual water heater. Okay, in case if the client decided to go with that. Okay, but the individual water heater will be the cheapest method and also very non-complicated method. Okay, but if you go with the centralized water heater, the balancing of the system is very complicated, but the operating cost, okay, maybe it is lesser, or maybe you can say that the initial cost may be lesser. Okay, assume that I'm going with the 500 electric water heater individual. Okay, assume that I have 1,000 dirham each electric heater. Okay, assume in that way. Okay, so I have to buy how much? It will be 500,000, right? Okay, and if I go with the centralized water heater, assume that it is a charge or one set. Okay, maybe I can say that it is only 350,000, right? Then I can go with maybe the client want to go with the centralized water heater if they feel that the centralized water heater is the cheapest one. Okay, if they calculate based on individual water heater, in case if they are getting only 500 or 500 dirham, okay, and if they get only 25,000, then better to go with the individual water heater. Okay, in case when they do the calculation, initial calculation, if they feel that the centralized water heater is the cheapest one, they may choose the centralized water heater. Okay, here what is the difference? You have a centralized water heater equipment. Okay, say for example, you have a big water heater, right? You have a big calorifier. You heard about calorifier, right? Everyone know that calorifier, correct? So say for example, the calorifier is nothing but storage. Say for example, for normal water, okay, you have a grp tank or you have a concrete tank, okay, where you are going to store the water. But when you talk about hot water, you cannot store it in the normal water tank. You have to store it in the calorifier, where the calorifier is insulated to capable of storing that hot water. Okay, so this particular equipment called vertical water heater, which very big water heater with like calorifier with the electrical element, okay, inside. Okay, so this electrical element will be calculated based on the capacity what we are going to calculate. Clear, right? Okay, now if you go to the data sheet, okay, uh, you can see that there are two items. One is the electric water heater calorifier data sheet, and another one is the electric water heater selections. Okay, the water heater element. Okay, so here how we are going to calculate the central water heater. Say for example, you have a same calculation. Okay, only thing, what is the difference? The number of equipment will be more. Okay, assume that I have 50 lavatory, or if I have a 500 keys, I may have a 500 lavatory, right? Then I have a 500 bathtubs. Okay, then I have a 500 kitchen sink. Okay, so based on that equipment, you can see the total water requirement, which will be 16,000 gallon per hour requirement, right? So it's a huge. You cannot go with individual water heater. Assume that this much of the total consumption will be this much. Okay, so based on the same calculation, you can able to calculate 0.3. Okay, the storage factor for that particular application for private residence. Okay, then you can able to calculate what is the total probable maximum demand, and you can able to calculate the calculated storage capacity. Then you can able to calculate total thermal power requirement. Okay, up to here the procedure will be very same procedure. But why you need the selection? Because say for example, I'm going to go with the one equipment room. Okay, because when I do the space planning, I want to keep all my equipments. Okay, say for example, if it is a vertical water heater or horizontal water heater, I should know what is the size, right? So if I go to data sheet, I can able to calculate my total water heater calorifier requirement. Okay, what is the storage capacity? Based on the storage capacity, based on the manufacturer, I can able to calculate what is the vertical height. If I have a horizontal, what is the dimension, so that I can able to do the space planning, right? So as a overall height, what is the total height as a storage tank? Clear, right? Anyone have doubt? Selection of water heater for the individual water heater, for the centralized water heater.
No, sir. It's okay.
Okay, so this is based on the storage capacity. So when you talk about individual water heater, your capacity will be assumed that 15 liter or 30 liter or 50 liter or maximum like 100 liter. Okay, but if when you talk about centralized water heater, your capacity starts from 80 gallon, okay, to 5,000 gallon. Okay, so if I talk about liter, if I talk about liter, it starts from 300 liter to, say for example, 18 liter. Okay, so 300 to 18,925 liter of water I can decide. I can design with a centralized water heater. Okay, so depends upon that I can able to select rectangular water heater in case A and B. Okay, in case if I go with horizontal, what is the width C and D and length. Okay, if I go with the circular, then I have a diameter and length. Okay, then I have a connection size, I have a weight. So depends upon with this dimension I can able to select the room spacing. Clear, right? Then I can able to select the input power. Okay, input power you no need to do the selection by means of this manufacturer. You can also able to do the calculation, or if you want to do the, if you want to go with the manufacturer selection, they have given the input value here, and then the gallon per hour, how much gallon per hour based on the temperature you can able to get the power, input power. So depends upon that you can able to select the centralized water heater. Any doubt, Aditya, Rias? Simple method. If you
It's
calculate,
only we need
yeah,
gallons, total gallons we need for
yeah,
selection.
there are two items required. Okay, one is the total gallon, and
Uh,
another one is the how much heat is required, or how much, what is the
yes.
power required, because power and heat is same. Clear, right?
Okay. Yeah, yeah, clear.
Okay, next we will go with the centralized water heater with a boiler. Okay, the procedure remains same, everything. Okay, say for example you have a different type of fixtures here, then you have a different type of quantity, depends upon the requirement, then you are going to calculate, right? Then there is a material, you are going to select the material, right? Depends upon the demand factor, storage factor, probable maximum demand, you can able to calculate the total storage capacity and thermal power. Up to here everything is same. Similarly, how you are going to select the central electric water heater, similarly you are going to select for the boiler. Okay, I'll be sending you one video for the boiler, just to watch the video, you can able to understand, okay, how the boiler works. Say for example this is the boiler, right? Okay, here inside there is a furnace. Okay, so when you switch on the burner, what will happen, this furnace will produce the heat inside the coil, for the furnace coil. Okay, so this particular furnace coil, what will happen, you will be having a calorifier here, then from the calorifier to your boiler there is a water supply connection. Okay, there is a water supply, basically inlet water and outlet water to the fixtures. Then also there will be one inlet to the, between the boiler to the calorifier to boiler and boiler to calorifier, there is a closed circuit. Okay, what will happen, this will transfer the heat energy. Okay, instead of heating element, what will happen, there will be another coil inside with the connected to the boiler. You understand, right, what I'm saying? Okay, okay, now what is happening, when the burner is on, that burners will produce the heat element. Okay, that will it will same like if you go to Carlos coffee stall or tea stall, where you have a furnace, right, the boiler and furnace, the same concept. Okay, you have a furnace here, that furnace will heat the water, and that water will be transferred to the calorifier, and that particular hot water will be utilized for the plumbing fixtures. Okay, so here what is the element, you have a water heater, calorifier, and also the boiler selection. So when you go to the data sheet, okay, you can see the boiler here, right? This is the boiler, you can see the furnace, right? So this is the one of the manufacturer, Wiesmann. Okay, if you go to this particular manufacturer, like you have a different model, right? So this different model is depends upon the capacity, rated output. Okay, how much heat is required. So this heat only you are going to calculate here. Remember, when you calculate here heat, So how much heat is required, you calculate here. Based on that heat, you are going to select the equipment here. Okay. Now since here it is 800 and the gallon per hour will be 486. Okay. So how you are going to choose? You are going to choose 300 into two numbers, or if you choose 500 will be one number. Okay, will be one number because my storage capacity will be 486. Okay. If I choose 250, I need two calorifier, right? Because this is a storage capacity. Okay. So what is my calorifier type? 250. Okay. So if I go to this particular model, I can able to select calorifier of 250 gallon, two numbers. So this is the electric water heater calorifier data sheet. Okay, I can select two numbers. So what is the dimension? If I have a space planning, inside I have a boiler, inside I have a calorifier. So based on this dimension, I can able to size my room dimension. Okay, and if I go to boiler, so boiler, what is required? I have a boiler length, boiler width, boiler height, then base length, base width, then install the burner height. This is all the dimension, flow air connection detail, everything. But what is the technical data? This is my rated output. How much heat I have to produce here. So if I go to my boiler, what is the heat? 88 kilowatt, right? So if I go to data sheet, I can able to choose 127, 125 model. Okay, because I need 88, but this particular machine can produce 127 kilowatt. So if I choose 125, what is the 125 mm clearance required? Okay, if you talk about clearance, what is the boiler room clearance, right? So you can able to choose the room clearance here. So this is my room. Inside there is a boiler, two boiler, depends upon my capacity, and you can see the dimension here, 1600 mm. Okay, and what is the boiler dimension? 1000 mm. These all data coming from the data sheet inside. So this is all formula based. Clear, right? So with this information, I can do the space planning. Anyone have doubt regarding the boiler selection? Okay, I will be sending you one video. Just see the video. You can able to understand how the boiler works. Okay, that is a good video, like 3D animation. You can able to understand how the boiler works.
Okay, sir.
Okay, then if I go to the gas water heater, similarly the same type. Everything is the same type. Okay, everything is based on ASHRAE. What you are going to do? You are going to calculate the type of building. Okay, then you are going to calculate the fixture type. Then you are going to calculate the capacity, quantity, how much quantity inside that particular area. Okay, then you can able to get the total demand. Okay, then so based on the demand, based on your demand factor, based on your storage factor, you will get the probable maximum demand and calculated storage capacity, right? And in gallon and in liter. Okay, then also you can calculate the thermal power in kilowatt or BTU per hour. Okay, so here since it is a gas element, okay, normally the gas consumption will be BTU per hour, right? Okay, here also you are going to select the gas heater. Okay, so there is a data sheet for the gas heater. Yeah, you can able to see that one of the gas water heater, right? You have a different models available, depends upon the gallon capacity. What is the gallon capacity? Okay, depends upon that what is your consumption. Okay, what is your input BTU per hour? So this value you are going to calculate, this value you are going to calculate, this value you are going to calculate. So based on that, you can able to select the model. Okay, you can go through this particular data sheet. If you have any doubt, we can discuss in the next class. Okay, Aditya. So today we have talked about individual water heater, and then electric water heater centralized, and then we have talked about gas water heater, and then we have talked about boiler water heater. Okay, with this we will stop, but I want you to go through this calculation sheet and study the calculation sheet, then let me know whatever you have a doubt. Okay, then solar water heater we will discuss separately because it required it required one complete session.
Okay.